ordered 4 pairs of Doc Marten boots in 4 different leathers that they carry their boots in to give a review, or really just for me to check out which leather is the best quality out of the different leathers they carry. Because I was wanting to buy some Doc Marten boots for the shop because they're supposed to be really comfortable, but I've never really liked the quality of their boots. Anytime I went to the mall or whatever, tried some on, their leather felt really cheap. And so I bought 4 different pairs of their boots in the 4 different leathers to check them out for myself and see which boot I like the most and which leather is the best in my opinion. Because every time that I would try to look up a review on any types of these boots online, they were all coming from people who have no idea what they're talking about with leather. And so they were just like, this leather is the best leather in the world. And I'm like, what? Just kind of like, they're not basing it on anything. And so, yeah, I thought I would buy some and actually give an informed review on the leather quality. Okay, box number 1. Ooh, comes with a nice giant bag for some reason. These are definitely the made in England boots because I noticed the difference in color on the inside of the leather. So, first impressions. Yeah, they don't smell great. The leather, it's definitely a really, really finished leather. There's not a whole lot of natural characteristics, but I don't know, seems nice. Let's open the next one and then we'll do a more in-depth review of each one. Okay, number 2. Okay, these ones, my guess is just the regular smooth boots. Smell test, it just smells like rubber, because this is the leather I don't like, where it doesn't even feel like leather. It's like got such a hard plasticky cover. It's such a corrected grain leather that I hate it. So it's definitely the bane of my existence. Cheap leather. Giant box that has 2 pairs of boots in them, I think, I hope. Let's do the hard life ones first. Okay, I actually like these ones a lot more than the other 2. This is their hard life leather, which is a lot more of a natural leather. You can see some of the natural flaws and stuff in it, and either that or somebody wore these before. Okay, on to the ones I am the most excited about. Okay. Now, yeah, this is nice. Yeah. Definitely Dublin. And yeah. Now let's do a more in-depth side-by-side comparison. We're gonna look at the leather quality, the construction techniques and quality, and just overall look and feel of the boots, I guess. So let's just go through what they are first. 1460 smooth, 1460 hard life, made in England, and Horween. So the first ones are the cheapest option. These retail for $140. These don't have a Goodyear welt. I'll try to add a little image of what a Goodyear welt is. These are basically just have the sole glued to them. There's no stitching that's holding the sole to the boot. That's part of the reason I've stayed away from Doc Martens. I felt like they were overpriced for what they were. They use cheap leather. They don't even use a Goodyear welt, and I'm pretty sure they don't have a shank in the sole. The leather quality on this one, it's just that, like I said earlier, it's that plasticky, ultra refinished leather where they put like almost like a plastic coating on top. If you scratch this leather, it's not gonna be able to heal as well because it's gonna flake up that plasticky coating. The stitching looks kind of rough. This leather just doesn't stitch very well. It starts to fold and crinkle. If you want Doc Martens and you're on a budget and you have to go with these, like, go with them, I guess. But realize you're not getting a very good constructed boot with very good leather. Next, we've got the hard lives. These usually retail for $160, but they're on sale for $96. This leather is, they advertise it as really hard leather, but it's actually softer than the smooths. It's definitely not as corrected grain. You can see a lot of the flaws in the leather. You can see a lot of like the scuffs and the natural grain of the leather. You can see the pores and where the leather's been folded, which I prefer. I don't want a fake looking leather. I want a leather that looks like leather. They say this is a Goodyear welt, but I don't know if it is, because these two, the made in England boots, you can see where the machine has sent that stitching through the sole. There's a little bit of a groove, but on this one, it looks identical to the smooth. And so I guess if they say it's a Goodyear welt, it's a Goodyear welt, but it doesn't feel like one. And it doesn't look like one. That's my biggest concern with this one. If I was positive that this was a Goodyear welt, I would say 99% of the time, just forego these, spend 20 bucks extra and get the hard life. You'll get some decent leather with your boot, and a Goodyear welt, if it actually is a Goodyear welt, worth the 20 bucks extra. So this right now is like the best bargain. Like, this is an awesome pair of boots for $96. You get the look of Doc Martens without having to pay the premium price for a sub-premium product. I like these boots. Okay, next is the Made in England boots. Retail for $220. This leather is a corrected grain leather, and that's why you get that really, really even finish. It's not quite as plasticky as the smooths. You can still see some of the grain and stuff, but it's not as obviously real leather as like these hard lives. And then obviously the inside is that natural color. And a lot of people might not like that, but I think it's kind of a cool little feature of these boots. So judging off that, this is probably it's not a drum dyed leather. It's probably hand dyed afterward or spray dyed afterwards. So you might not have as deep of a lasting finish as some of these other boots, because like these boots are dyed all the way through. So if you get a scuff, your leather's gonna look a little flaky and gross, but it's not gonna, the black's not gonna go away. With these, if you scuff these, the black finish has the potential of disappearing because it's only on the very, very top surface of the leather. So if you do buy these boots, you just have to plan for the fact that you're gonna have to add some shoe polish, some black shoe polish on it to re-dye that leather anytime you get a good scuff. Okay, so another thing that's interesting is these soles are different. You know, Made in England ones are a little bit thicker. They look like they're made out of a different type of rubber or plastic or whatever sole stuff. You can tell these have a Goodyear welt construction because you can see where the needle has gone into the actual cap of the sole. You can see those little tread marks. These are a good boot. They have a little bit of a plasticky feel to them. That might change when you start wearing them more. You know, the leather might break in and not go wrinkly like a really, really refinished leather. So if you're actually gonna use the boots for what boots are made for, these might be the way to go over these ones. These might be 30% more, but you'll probably get more than 30% extra life out of them. So if you have the money, these are better in my opinion. Okay, and then on to the ones I was most excited about, the Horween leather boots. This is their Dublin, $260 for the Dublin. This is an interesting leather because we struggle with it a little bit because it's such a natural leather and it has so much natural character in it that a lot of people, they think leather is like these smooths where it's a really, really even finish and they like almost forget that it's from a cow's skin. So Dublin is a really, really character heavy leather. It's drum dyed, which is a benefit and a perk that's maybe better than the vintage, because on these ones you get that black dye all the way through the leather. This is a Goodyear welt. This is also made in England. The stitching looks really, really good on this. This leather stitches really well because it's top grain leather and you don't get those wrinkles you get from a corrected grain leather. If you don't know about Horween leather, it's an American tan leather. Horween's one of the most famous tanneries in the world. They make amazing stuff and they're as old school as it gets. They're one of the oldest tanneries, if not the oldest tannery in America. And we went out there this spring to hand choose our leather for the harnesses, and it was a really, really cool operation. So I was really excited to get these boots. I would say that this leather, the Dublin leather from Horween, is more similar to the hard life leather. And then the vintage leather is more similar to the smooth leather. So it kind of breaks down in two categories. If you like the really corrected grain leather, has that plasticky feel, and you're on a budget, you might go for the smooths. If you like that really natural feeling leather that's actually feels like leather, and you're on a budget, these are your boots to go with. If you are looking for a really good boot and you want that shiny Dr. Marten look where it's a corrected grain leather, these vintage ones are nice. But if you're a leather aficionado, you probably already know what Dublin is, and these are the boots if you actually care about leather and you like leather. And that wraps up the boot review. I hope you enjoyed having an actual leather worker's opinion of leather. I had tons of fun doing this. So if there's another type of leather product that you would like to have reviewed from a leather working standpoint, let me know, because this was really fun. Another thing is, I can't always justify doing all these videos because they're kind of an expensive process, and they take a lot of time to film and edit. So if you like this channel, if you want me to keep doing some stuff like this, do me a favor, like and subscribe and all that other stuff that everyone asks for. It helps promote the channel, helps grow the channel, and it helps me justify doing this type of stuff, because I would love to do stuff like this more often. Thanks.